Hello and welcome to Cali Legends Media. Okay, before I get started, I want to thank all the subscribers, all of you who came out to watch the video that I put out yesterday. Um, and I'm glad to have you back, man. Thank you very much. And thank you for accepting me back. Really appreciate it. Highly appreciate it. Okay, so today I want to speak a little bit about what's been going on with Hoodstocks. For those of you who don't know, which I'm sure probably most of you do know already, Hoodstocks had a very good podcast. Okay, he was considered, if not the number one Chicano podcast, amongst the top podcasters. Okay, his studio caught fire. I don't know, maybe a week or two ago, but it burned down. Okay, most of his equipment was destroyed, and it kind of like put him out of the game for a while. He's not sure what he's going to do yet, if he's going to continue on with podcasting, or if he is, how he's going to do it. Who knows? Maybe some insurance will come through and he'll get himself another studio. Maybe not as big, maybe twice as big. You never know. You know, God works in mysterious ways. But that being said, okay, before I move on, because there's a few things I want to mention about Lucky, okay? Lucky from Hoodstocks. Now, first of all, by his studio burning down, obviously that gave Blue Devil Hater World a leg up. Okay, he moved up a slot with Lucky out of the way now. Okay, does he seem to be rejoicing in that? No, but there seems to be a little bit of I don't know, just a little bit of things thrown out there. He says you don't want to kick a man when he's down, but he throws a few little jabs. He just don't let him connect fully. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. You know, it's part of podcasting, I guess. It's part of the competition. It's part of doing your thing on social media. So that gave Blue Devil, which is another Chicano podcast, a leg up. You know, Lucky had more subscribers. But I'm going to be honest with you, okay? As far as doing things for the community, Lucky was on the move, man. I seen him speak at high schools, youth centers. He did a lot of good things while he was out in the community, okay? Christmas giveaways. He's been very active, man. I feel bad for dude, man. I really appreciate his get down when he was doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Blue Devil, on the other hand, hey, you know, I know a lot of you don't like the guy, but he's doing what he considers his part on helping the raza elevate by bringing out these young Chicano rappers and introducing them to the social media community as a whole. Not only that, but he feels that he's helping the unknowns get known, because a lot of guys that hit Haters World podcast have come to their career has come to fruition, you know, and they're making money. Now that we're on the subject of this rap thing, okay, he had a guest on the other day who goes by the nickname Bozo. Okay, now I seen the podcast. It was a good podcast, and Bozo's an impressive speaker. Okay, and they were going over a new album that they were releasing that's coming out, or maybe it came out already, I don't know, but it was his latest and greatest, you know. And I listened to it, and there was quite a few songs on there that I thought were pretty good, you know. But Bozo made a comment the other day, of all places, No Jumper. Okay, now, you know, I've been boisterous about what I think about No Jumper and his accusations, and he even admits that, yeah, he was with a 16-year-old girl, but I guess the country he was in allowed it, you know. I think that's ridiculous because, you know, some places will chop your hands off for smoking weed. In the United States, it doesn't. You know, so what do? You go to come to the United States just to smoke weed, you know. If you could pull out what I'm trying to get to out of that, I give you a lot of credit. I just don't want to be too explicit or too vocal on my opinion on this guy anymore, okay? But nevertheless, Lucky from Hoodstocks had made a comment to the Chicano community saying, anybody who goes, any homie that goes on No Jumper wouldn't be allowed on his podcast, right? Well, that's irrelevant now because he's not podcasting and he doesn't have a studio, this, that, and the other. Nevertheless, he made a call to the raza, to his people, to basically ban No Jumper, for the raza going on there. And he had a good reason for doing it. You know, the guy basically came out and shitted all over the raza, talked down on the raza, threw us under the bus as a community, okay? Not just, it wasn't a No Jumper Hoodstocks beef, you know. He was using it, his comments, his racial comments in generality towards the whole Chicano community, okay? And besides that, dude had bad charges hanging over him if he was here in the United States, messing around with a 16-year-old. Now, Bozo had said that if he's seen Marvin 16 in his neighborhood, that he was going to smash him, run him out, he wasn't allowed, and F that, I don't get down like that. Yet he goes on this guy's podcast, which kind of took away a little bit of that shine in my eyes from Bozo, okay? But on top of that, all of the racial innuendos that this guy from No Jumper spit out there, including at Lucky, you know, I would think everybody's talking about unity and supporting one another and everything. It would have been nice for Bozo to have respected that and say, you know what, I ain't going on there. Not because the homie said not to, but because the guy has some sexual tendencies that aren't acceptable in our raza, in our ramfla, from our people. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he said it was a career move. It was a business move. But come on, like, No Jumper ain't that big, you know. I'm going to give you an example, okay? And this is an example, not so much including No Jumper, but an example about being worried about where you stand and how big a platform you're on and this, that, and the other. Bozo had made a comment saying that the old heads, the old rappers, like Little Rob, there's all kinds of them. You still hear their songs on the radio. I heard them this weekend. You know what I mean? On the radio, driving in my car. I've never heard Bozo play on the radio, you know? And these guys haven't been around in a while, and they're still playing their music on the radio, and people are still getting down to them. You know what I mean? But he said, like, they don't fit anymore, that they could never make it, and you know, their careers are over, and now it's a new thing, you know? Look, I know that we have a lot of young and up-and-coming Chicano rappers, and they are making money, which is great. I mean, big money. But they're making it by other means, okay? They don't have these big contracts like most of the black rappers that are holding the top spots in the industry, okay? We're talking about industry now, which, you know, they're worldwide, you know? They play on the radio. You know, their concerts are huge and sell out millions of dollars, you know? There's a big difference between being social media successful and social media rich, and then you have somebody in the industry who's really rich and really successful, who you hear coming out on the radio. So I just felt like, man, he's taking away from these guys, you know, these old cats, and they're still playing on the radio. But I never hear these other rappers, these young up-and-coming rappers, on the radio. Lefty Gunplay, because of the brother that gave him a break, says those 4 lines, he got an award. He didn't get an award for those 4 lines. He got an award because he featured on the brother's album, and the brother gave him a bone and brought him up and pushed him out there, trying to give him some notoriety and stuff. But honestly, I think we don't have no up and coming Chicano rappers that are ever going to go anywhere, because all they do is talk about gang banging, shooting, and this and that and the other, and about themselves. And come on, people. There's other people too that they're really not into that, And if you could reach that community on an industry level, then we'll have some top Chicano rappers. Till then, we're not. We're always going to just be at the level that we're at. We're not going to elevate, And I don't think going on a podcast of somebody that has some devious sexual tendencies and unacceptable sexual behaviors, I mean, I could name a bunch of them. I'm not going to get into that. Is going to be really appreciated by his people, And maybe he feels those people don't matter, The homies don't matter. But the homies aren't going to appreciate that, No Jumper, all he does is he gets all these black gang members on there, and he throws shit out there and gets them arguing and make them say things and stuff. They all end up indicted. And he said it with his own mouth. Hey, I'll testify. If I have to, I'll testify. I ain't going to prison. You know what I mean? So that's the type of person you're playing with when you're going to No Jumper. With this Adam character. Hey, to each his own. Nobody could tell nobody where to go, what to do, or how to do it. It's your life, it's your business. But I was kind of starting to think nothing but positive about Bozo, the things he was saying about the unity, about how we don't get down like that, and okay, don't come to my neighborhood because you're gonna get smashed out. We don't mess with little kids, this and that. Well, we also don't mess with people who mess with kids. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of how do you say, hypocrisy going on, And Blue Devil had mentioned, or no, it was another podcaster that mentioned, I think it was Slugs, had mentioned, hey, look, man, you got to watch what you say and watch what you do, because everybody's looking, Not everybody's really paying attention to certain things, but those that are, and I do pay attention. And Lucky wasn't trying to be a shot caller. Lucky from Hoodstocks wasn't trying to control the homies or nothing. He put that out there because it was the best thing for the raza. Stay off of that podcast, and even made it in so much that if you're that type of person to go over there, you're not the type of person to come over here and kick it with us. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a fine line there that was crossed by Bozo going on that podcast. That's all I'm saying. Bozo has some talent, man, and I believe if he'd get off of all of the type of rapping that he's doing, and tries to cover up some of the things, like simple stuff, 9mm is your Nina, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, and make it in a way acceptable to the mainstream public, then he'd be somebody. There's a lot of rappers that I think. I don't know if Bozo would be one of them, but hey, man, to me he's an impressive young man, and he does have some style, and he knows what he's doing. On a business sense, I don't think going on that No Jumper podcast was a very smart business move. I know he met with a billionaire or some rich man to try to make things happen. I guess it never came to fruition. Nevertheless, he did have the meeting. He did go. They did their spiel, and I guess things didn't pan out. I don't know. That's just from what I've seen and from what I've heard. There might be more to it. Anyways, these are all things that happened recently, man. I miss Lucky, man, and his podcast. He was doing some positive shit out in the street. He even did food blogs. You know what I mean? Man. You see him out with his family. He shared his personal life. He's doing the damn thing. And it's a shame that his his thing burned down. I know Poetic Flaco, a black podcaster, had said that it was time for celebration. It's time for celebration because this racist guy podcast burned down. No, it's not time for no celebration. And I don't think, look, he's racist. He may have made some racist comments, joking and fooling around. He did kind of go a little overboard. True, but to wish somebody bad like that and to celebrate over something so serious as to somebody losing part of their income, you know, a piece of their livelihood, and something that they enjoy doing for the community. Because no matter how you slice it, man, most of what Lucky did was for the community. Yeah, he did have some podcasts where, you know, it was about, you know, having a good time and just bullshitting about, you know, war stories, you know. But he had his shining moments, man. Like I said, speaking to high school students, and they were feeling him, man. They were asking him questions. It was back and forth. You know, he was being a good example. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, we miss Lucky from Hoodstocks. I hope things work out for you, brother. If you watch this, good luck with all your endeavors, man. And I hope there's nothing but blessings that follow this tragedy, you know. And as for Bozo, hey, Bozo, man, stay on the grind, man. Keep working, you know, and keep trying to encourage encourage the homies and stuff, and do what you can to bring about unity and all of this. This has nothing to do. I'm not trying to this isn't no beef or no complaining. I just want to bring attention to this because I don't think you realize how it really looks to some people. You know, maybe because I'm older and I've seen and been through things that haven't really been exposed to. I don't know, but I couldn't miss with dude. You know what I mean? Not with that guy, man. That guy from No Jumper, he's got too much stuff. You know, his own people. Poor dude, man. If he ever gets busted, man, he's not gonna last a day. And you know what I'm talking about. Anybody who knows he's not gonna make it. He's not gonna make it. We're not talking about a Wes Watson here. We're talking about this guy's activities, man, who are off the chart. But anyway, this is my video for today, and I hope everybody could take the positive things out of this and maybe think about these things, especially if you're a young rapper and stuff. Hey, man, move up, man. Leave all that gang banging street craziness, man. Disguise it in your song, you know, spit it out there, you know, and make it more secretive, not so blatant, and maybe it'll open doors, man. As long as you're banging the double S on your songs or representing, you're using a brand, okay? And you got to understand that you're using somebody's brand, okay? So if you're doing it without permission, without acknowledgement, believe me, you will acknowledge it at some point. So, you know, think about it, man. Yeah, you know, big producers don't want that kind of trouble. You know, you guys be smart about it. You want to be smart about your business, be smart 100%. Not just in the things that you might think are smart. You know, use other opinions, take the meat, throw away the bone, man. This being said, God bless you, take care, and thank you for watching.